I have been summoned. I have been summoned. I can't even believe I never thought I would be talking about the individual that I will be speaking on today, but here we are. What the is going on in the paranormal community? Y'all, I am just, okay, so first of all, we got Aaron Goodwin's wife or ex-wife hiring a hitman in prison to kill Aaron as he's filming Ghost Adventures. We got all of these. Zach Bagans is apparently some serial cheater. Holly Madison's been delivering the tea lately. Annabelle, the most haunted demonic doll, my favorite haunted doll ever. She's on tour right now, a world tour, or like her version of the Eras tour. Seriously. But the most shocking part, that's what we're going to be focusing on today, is Annabelle. The most shocking part about this Annabelle Eras tour is who's handling it, who's behind it, who's involved in it. Ryan Buell. I am more shocked over Ryan Buell. Annabelle, I don't know why everyone's making this like huge deal about it. Honestly, I really don't. And I swear to you, Annabelle's always on tour. I swear to you, she's always at conventions, at these like paracons. Like she's always, I swear to God, she is. Obviously, Annabelle's home is at the Warrens Occult Museum in Monroe, Connecticut. So I'm just still like, what the heck? Anyways, so I heard about this whole like Annabelle tour. My friend sent me a video, but she sent me a video with Ryan Buell. And that's what I was most focused on, you know? So I was going through the comments and, you know, I was seeing all these videos on my FYP on TikTok and everyone's talking about Annabelle, how she's causing all these horrible things to happen. And the Warrens saying, never bring Annabelle anywhere, never move her anywhere, just let her stay in the museum because she's so dangerous, she's so demonic, she's so evil. And yet she's going on this Eras tour, but I swear she's always on an Eras tour. I don't know. I thought this was like a whole Mandela effect when I was hearing about it, especially the Ryan Buell thing, because what the heck? But nobody was talking about Ryan Buell. I didn't see one person talk about Ryan Buell. So I made a TikTok. I also posted it on Instagram and YouTube Shorts, just saying how everyone is freaking out over Annabelle on a world tour. And I'm just more shocked about seeing Ryan Buell because if you know, you know. So I was hoping that that video would reach the right people. And it did. That video is gaining so much traction on TikTok right now. All the comments are talking about how they're like, oh my God, thank you. I thought I was the only one. I thought I was crazy. Like, didn't he do this? Didn't he scam his fans? Didn't he lie about pancreatic cancer? All this stuff. And I was like, oh my God, someone said the Mandela effect as well. Actually, many people mentioned that. They felt like it was a Mandela effect because it just seemed like nobody remembered. But if you go to my comment section on that TikTok, you will see every single person remembers this. Also, I don't know if it's because this happened, it was like 2013, 2012, 2013. It's like a different generation now who's, you know, in the paranormal. So maybe they just don't know about Ryan Buell. But honestly, if you're in the paranormal, how the hell do you not know about Ryan Buell? After I posted that TikTok, I was being asked about my thoughts on this whole situation. So I thought, you know, let's make a whole video about this. As someone who has been to the Warrens Occult Museum, who has met Annabelle, been face to face with Annabelle, and who has been scammed by Ryan Buell in the past. So here we go, guys. I don't know how long this is going to be, but I'm going to try to keep it short, but like, here we go. So who is Ryan Buell if you don't know him? Because maybe you don't know him. Maybe you are from the younger generation, but if you are my age, you damn well know who Ryan Buell is. Like, that man was my idol. That man is the reason why I pursued the paranormal on my YouTube channel. That man was my idol. Do you guys remember Paranormal State? I still love Paranormal State to this day. Anyways, that was a show starring Ryan Buell. It aired in 2006 or 2007, and it ended in 2011. So Ryan was a college student. He went to Penn State University. He was in PRS, the Paranormal Research Society, which was at Penn State University. And he had this incredible show on A&E. And I honestly think it's one of the best paranormal shows ever. Okay, guys, Ryan Buell was the it boy, the it guy, the it man in the paranormal back in the day. He was everything to me at one point. If you go back to my older videos in like 2012, 13, 14, that's all I talked about. I loved him so much. He meant everything to me. And I'm just trying to give you some, backstory, because when I was shocked to see Ryan Buell, taking Annabelle on this Eras tour and charging people money, and there's lineups and lineups of people waiting to meet Annabelle, and they're paying, I don't know, I swear I saw $60. I don't know. It doesn't even matter at this point. I'm, whatever. People are willing to pay it. I don't know if anyone's had anything happen to them, if anything bad has happened to them, if they've experienced anything. I will get into like my experience with Annabelle, but no, he's charging people. He's taking Annabelle everywhere. He's meeting fans in line, and like people seem so excited to see him, and I'm just like, did people forget? Like, did people really forget? But I will always thank Ryan Buell for being that person, even though he doesn't know me. Maybe he does, I don't know, but being that person who really pushed me to go after my paranormal dreams. That sounds like weird to say paranormal dreams, but really, it's because of Ryan Buell. So if you go back to my older videos, you will see I am talking about this guy constantly. I was talking about the tour that was coming up, and I was so excited. I got the meet and greet package, and I was just on cloud nine. I could not wait to meet him. I even brought this shirt. I'll show you guys. I bought this Penn State shirt. You probably remember it. I've worn this in so many videos. I bought this Penn State shirt because of Ryan Buell, because when I was in high school, my plan was I was going to go to Penn State University, join PRS, the Paranormal Research Society. Like, that was what I wanted. I wanted to do that so badly. I wanted to be Ryan Buell. Like I said, he was the it boy. And I'm telling you right now, if he never did all the shit that he did back then, he would have been the king of the paranormal today. I'm telling you. And if you remember, like if you were part of that era, you agree with me. You have to agree. If you don't, then you obviously don't know who Ryan Buell was. But maybe you don't. We all got different opinions, obviously. But majority, you would agree. This man was making his way. Like, he was so relatable, and he was like a really young guy. Like, he was in college and everything. And it was such a good show. It was so different. The paranormal is so different today. And I mean that in a negative way, unfortunately. But it really is. There's been a shift. It's just, I miss the way that it used to be. I really do, obviously. But everyone talks about, like, Ghost Adventures and Zach Bagans, obviously. Ryan Buell would have been bigger than Zach Bagans ever. Than Zach Bagans could ever be. 100%. Million percent. He was making his way up there, but he ruined it. I bought all the seasons of Paranormal State. I bought Ryan's book that he had. And then when I found out he was going on tour, which I believe this was like 2013 when he was going on tour. I feel like it was like 2012. I think it was 2013. It was 2012, 2013, 2014. But I think maybe it was like 2013. Anyways, I bought tickets to this tour. And I had no idea that he's been doing this like years prior too. And I was so excited. I bought the meet and greet package. I was telling you guys on here, if you're from that era, I was like, oh my God, I'm meeting Ryan Buell. I'm so excited. Like, I feel like everything's going to fall into place when I meet him. I remember saying that. I bought the Penn State shirt because I was going to wear that when I meet him and just tell him, like, you are the reason why I've pursued the paranormal on my channel. And like, you are a huge role model to me, and just thank you for everything. You've inspired me. You make me so happy, all of this stuff. And then I just remember it was this huge thing. This tour, guys, I think it was like Conversations with the Dead. It was called something like that. It didn't even exist. Yeah, he put it all together and was selling these tickets, but he wasn't going to show up to any of these venues. These venues that he booked, I believe there were seven tour dates in Canada. I'm in Toronto, if you don't know that. I live in Toronto. There were 7 Canadian tour dates. And there was, tour dates in the States as well. And none of these, on the Canada side, but I'm assuming on the American side as well, none of the venues where the tour was taking place were even booked. So he was never even gonna show up. So what would happen is the day of the tour, or the day of like the date that I was going, or I think it was Montreal who was before me. This was a long time ago, guys. 2013, 2014, whatever. So like a decade ago. Over a decade ago, I started seeing, I think it was like on Twitter, but like especially on Facebook, because Facebook was bigger back then, at least to me it was. And it would be the day of, people would fly across the country, spend thousands of dollars on, airfare, hotels, everything. Some people from the States were flying to Canada, Canada flying to the States, like whatever. People were spending thousands of dollars. And I forget how much the tickets were with the meet and greet. I truly do forget how much that was. I remember, I feel like this was Montreal. I think Montreal was before Toronto. People would show up to the venue and there would be no tour. So the people like working at the venue never heard about Paranormal State or Ryan Buell, and they had no knowledge of this tour taking place there today. And that's when it started getting weird for me. I was like, what the fuck? And then I remember for Toronto, it was the same thing. There would be notices on the venue doors just saying like there's, nothing is happening, or it's been canceled, or it's been postponed. So then there was this huge uproar on Facebook and everyone's talking about how this is a scam, how none of this was ever happening. Like none of the venues were even booked. None of them were booked. And there was a psychic medium who was supposed to be on this tour. She was also, I forget her name, but she was also in Paranormal State. And she backed out. And then Chip Coffey was also on a tour with Ryan, and he backed out. But everyone's talking on Facebook, like, what the heck? How do you just cancel this the day of? Like, literally canceled the day of. Sometimes I believe it was like the night before, but people are flying in and, everything was just postponed. We're going to postpone it. It's still going to happen, but it never was postponed. It was full out canceled and nobody got refunds. And people spent thousands. And then, I was looking into this, but I was like so naive back then. I was in such denial over things. Like, I just did not want to believe it. I was like, oh, but like, no, it's postponed. And, but it wasn't postponed. It was never happening. Yeah, he made up these tours, like saying like, this is what's going to go on. And like, I have like special guests or whatever, like Chip Coffey was on one and this other psychic medium was on another, but it was never planned to happen. Like, it was never going to happen. And then I found out like he's been doing this for quite some time. Like, there were like lectures or classes that he would, sell tickets for, but like never show up. That's the thing. He never shows up. That's why I'm so shocked that he's actually on tour with Annabelle. Like, he's actually showing up. I've never seen that. Like that. I'm just shocked. I'm just shocked. And a lot of thousands of you guys are too, who like have seen my video. So I'm glad it reached the target that I was, aiming for, because I was like, oh my God, does nobody remember this? So it was a huge ordeal. It was a huge thing. So, there's still people who haven't gotten their money back to this day in 2025. There's still people. It's just the pattern with Ryan is he would just lie constantly. He even made up having pancreatic cancer and he would get money from his fans. He never had pancreatic cancer. That's like, he lied about it and he really didn't look well. I remember seeing pictures of him, and I remember back in the day, people were like, well, maybe demons finally got to him. You know what I mean? They thought maybe the demons gave him cancer, and it was sad, but it just, something was so off about it, but he really did look sickly. Like, I remember the pictures of him. He did not look well. He was so skinny, I remember as well. But no, it all came out that was a lie. I remember even his mother came out and she was saying on Facebook, please do not give my son money. Like, he is sick. Let me find what she said, actually. Hold on. Oh my God. So I just found like, I don't know if it, oh my God, is it blurry? Anyways, that's when he was arrested. Paranormal State ghost hunter Ryan Buell arrested. He was arrested in 2016. Ryan Daniel Buell, 34, is facing 2 felony charges related to theft and stolen property. He's also facing a misdemeanor charge of theft of services. All charges are in Center County, Pennsylvania, where Buell was last known to be living. Buell was arrested on September 18th in Florence County, South Carolina, where he grew up. Buell's role in Paranormal State involved looking for ghosts or trying to prove that life after death is real. Paranormal State was also on A&E, by the way. He has a sizable fan base across the country, but fans started getting frustrated with him after he canceled shows without providing refunds. Buell had started a tour called Conversations with the Dead Tour. Tickets were sold to shows in cities across the US and Canada, but the shows got postponed and then canceled, leaving fans with no answers and looking for refunds. Fans were out hundreds of dollars and wanted their money back. Many of them never got a dime back. Some were able to get refunds by disputing the charge with their credit card company. That is how I got my money back. 2014, Chip Coffey, a longtime friend of Buell's, was scheduled to be on the Conversations with the Dead tour with Buell. He said thousands of dollars were at stake. At the time, Coffey said Buell and his team were in charge of all the details for the tour, but nothing was booked. Nothing was booked, despite selling tickets to the show. Okay, now I'm about to read a quote from Chip Coffey. I know that the last accounting I had with regards to ticket sales for the Conversations with the Dead tour, it was in excess of $80,000, Coffey said. The 2014 incident was not the first time Buell canceled shows. In 2012, he canceled some shows claiming he was fighting pancreatic cancer. In late 2013, Buell told People magazine he was close to remission, ready to tour again, and he started selling tickets for 2014 to another tour. Yet several of those shows never happened. Buell later moved to Pennsylvania and once again started advertising shows and connecting with his fans on his Facebook page. Yeah, it was Facebook. Fans once again complained that Buell took money for events, and then they said Buell either didn't show or the events were canceled, the most recent being a dinner in August. Now, Buell's mother is speaking out publicly. She posted several times on Buell's public Facebook page and the PRS page? Buell's mother writes to Buell's fans, please stop enabling his situation by sending money, buying tickets to events that may never occur, buying merchandise, phone calls you may never get phone calls, paying money to watch him on Twitch, and giving him offers of shelter. I am pleading with you out of love for my son, and I'm frightened by what his situation has become. Okay, and then his mom also said he's ill but not from cancer. His family knows the real story. You all need to stop believing his lies and stop enabling him, please. Damn, it was just such a crazy time back then. But it destroyed me. Like, I know that's kind of dramatic. I was so sad. I made a video talking about this incident. And I was like, I remember I had sleepovers that I would make on this channel and talk about ghost stories. And I was in my pajamas and I was saying how sad I was, but I was still being like so naive about it. But it's on this channel. So, I mean, go back in time. And I was just like, I'm so sad because it's postponed and like it never happened. And, you know, I loved Ryan Buell so much. And guys, I just want to say too, this is no like, I don't hate Ryan Buell. I don't even dislike the man. It's just when, I mean, it sounds so dramatic, but it's like a movie 30 years into the future. And then someone, you know, brings up a name or something from your past from like 30 years ago, 20 years ago, 10 years ago. For me, it's like a decade ago. And then you hear that name or, you know, you have all of these like memories flooding back and you pause and everything feels like it's slow motion. That's how I feel when I hear Ryan Buell. Like, that's how I feel when I hear his name. It's just all these memories, you know, it was such a good time back then. It was such a good time. YouTube was so different. Paranormal State was just my favorite show. I was just on cloud nine all the time because like, I loved this man. He was everything to me. Like, I know that just sounds so dramatic, but he was everything to me. So Ryan Buell, if you're watching, because he might be, I don't know. I think his stepson commented on one of my things. I don't even know if that really was a stepson. I don't know what to believe anymore, but this guy left a comment on my TikTok saying that he's related to Ryan, or he's a stepson, whatever, and was saying like, stop spreading this information, or I need to charge this. Stop spreading this information. Ryan's changed and all this stuff. I don't even know. Everyone lies these days, right? I don't even know if that was him. I'm not being mean in this video. I'm not, bashing the guy, but these are all facts. This is all true. I'm not making it up. You can look it up. It's been going on. It's just I didn't think I'd be talking about it a decade later, but I have talked about this on my channel. It was just I was more like heartbroken in that video. I was destroyed. That was like my first heartbreak, my only heartbreak, actually. involving a boy. And it wasn't even romantic. But no, like he broke my heart. Anyways, so Chip Coffey was very vocal about this because he was involved in the tour and he backed out and he ditched Ryan pretty much because he knew that something wasn't right. And he, has a reputation. He doesn't want to ruin his reputation, He wants to surround himself with people who are reliable, who are truthful, who aren't scamming people. So 2015, I was on a show with Chip Coffey. You guys might remember it was Exorcism Live. And we went to the real Exorcist house and in St. Louis, Missouri, the actual Exorcist house. I walked through it and this was my first ever TV show with the paranormal. This is my first ever TV appearance on TV for the paranormal. I was very new. I was very naive. I had no idea what I was doing. I was scared. Every move I made, I was terrified. Obviously, I now know how everything works. I've had way more experience and nothing scares me anymore. I'm not scared to say no. I'm not scared to refuse something. I'm not fucking scared anymore. But back then I was terrified. I didn't want to make the wrong move. Anyways, that's a totally different topic or totally different video if you want me to get into that. I don't know. It's up to you if you want to see. I've learned a lot. I think a lot of people don't realize how long I've been on social media. I started in 2006. It's been a long time. So I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot. And I've been around a long time. So anyways, I spent 2 days with Chip Coffey. This was 2015. And I had a great time with him. I have a lot of stuff on my Instagram. If you go back on my Instagram at BrittanyCrab44, and obviously if you watch Exorcism Live, we did the Ouija board session in the Exorcist house. But anyways, on the downtime, I spoke to Chip Coffey about this whole situation with Ryan. And he spilled tea with me, and I told him that, I bought tickets to the tour and how upsetting it was, how sad I was, and, how I looked up to Ryan and all this. And let me find the Chip Coffey interview. I remember when he's like, Ryan, I didn't throw Ryan under the bus. He threw me under, or whatever he said. Hold on. Okay, so this was in July of 2014. Chip Coffey speaks out about Ryan Buell and the PRS scamming of fans. Okay, so this was the quote I remember from Chip Coffey. I've been accused of throwing Ryan under the bus. I didn't throw Ryan under the bus. Ryan stepped in front of the bus, and I jumped out of the way. That's just some of what Chip Coffey, psychic medium, had to say about Ryan Buell. And people in the comments, I believe Chip. He saw what was going to happen and distanced himself. You did what was the right thing for you to do that didn't involve you getting into trouble with the law. So anyways, Chip and I were talking about all of this. And like I said, I spent 2 days with him. 2 days. And obviously, we were working together, which was a huge dream come true, especially for my first ever paranormal TV appearance. And getting to work alongside Chip Coffey was amazing. It was with Destination America. It was all the Travel Channel people. All the Travel Channel people. Or most of them, or whatever. I remember Nick Groff was involved, but he wasn't there or something. And I was so excited because I wanted to meet him. But I met other people from Travel Channel, the other shows that you see. It was a good time. It's something I will always be grateful for. But anyways, no, we spoke about Ryan Buell. I told him about the tour and all of this. And he was basically telling me everything that he's said in the interviews. He was very vocal about it because I think, your name is attached to Ryan Buell. You want people to know that you're innocent. And he just, he told me some other things that I don't think I will repeat on here. I don't know. There's other things that I found out that he told me about Ryan. And I actually have another insider. I won't say who it is, but somebody who was very close to Ryan. And I won't even say their gender, but they told me things about Ryan. I went out to coffee. Funny because I'm talking about Chip Coffey. I went out to coffee with this person who was also on Paranormal State. That's what I'll say. And they told me things as well and just said it's a very sad situation. And they also like distanced themselves, right? Which I don't blame. I don't blame Chip and I don't blame this other individual. But Chip just told me how bad it was. And we were talking about Paranormal State and all of this. And he just said like Ryan was a good guy. Like he was never like that before. I think also sitting down with Chip about this, like, and our hotel rooms are right next to each other, and we were talking about it. Like, it's just so crazy. But I haven't heard from Chip in like a decade. I think he wished me a happy birthday like 5 years ago or like 7 years ago or something like that. But no, I had a great conversation with him, and it was just kind of almost like closure for me in a way, just to hear it from him. And this is another thing too, and I've said this on my channel before, like, oh my God, my little, like, the Ryan Buell fan inside of me back in the day, like she's coming up again. I will never forget this, and I don't want to get emotional over it, but I just remember Chip told me that I remind him so much of Ryan when Ryan was first starting out, and that just, like, even today, that just means so much to me. Even though, oh my God, like, why am I getting like this? I think just like, I just never thought I'd be talking about this again. But just going back in time and thinking, I don't know, it's just, he meant so much to me. So it's just like, I want to go back in time and be like, wake up, like, why did you do all that? But that's what Chip told me. And that's always stayed with me, and it always will. Like, you remind me of Ryan when he was first starting out, like when he was good, the good part of him, right? So that meant so much to me, because he was just, like I keep saying, he was everything to me. He was my idol. He was, anyways. So I haven't heard the name Ryan Buell like since 2015, because it was Exorcism. It was 2015 when I was on Exorcism Live. So that was a decade ago. 2016 is when I went out for coffee with someone from Paranormal State, and we were talking about it, and they were telling me more info regarding Ryan. So it was 2016 when I just kind of let that part go, even though the old, like, younger fan inside of me is like coming out during this video. Am I a fan of him today? No. Oh my God, I thought I saw a spider. Anyways, don't even get me started on spiders. Do you guys remember in 2020 when I went to Savannah, Georgia for 5 days? I was investigating 5 different locations within 5 days. I was spending each night at a different location in Savannah, Georgia. Anyways, Ryan Buell was in Savannah when I was. And how I knew that was because I had some of my viewers send me DMs telling me, like, Ryan Buell is there, because they remember he was a huge deal to me. And I remember because my brother Jonathan was with me, and I was telling him, I was like, what the heck? Ryan Buell's, okay, like, can you imagine we actually bump into him? Anyways, one day he was at the Sorrel Weed House the same day that I was. I believe he was in the Sorrel Weed House the same time that I was on the outside of the Sorrel Weed House. Can you imagine he walked down those stairs and we saw each other? I mean, I don't know if he knows who I am, but I would have been like, what the heck? But yeah, he was like, that was the last time since 2016 that I've heard Ryan Buell's name, like before all this Annabelle stuff came out, like a few days ago. So that was crazy. We're both in Savannah at the same time, but I wasn't like looking into him like, oh, I wonder what he's doing. I was just like, damn, this guy has balls to even show himself. But then I just kind of like dropped it and forgot about it. But can you imagine I bumped into him? I don't know what he was doing in Savannah. Like I remember seeing there were like some videos. I don't know if he was meeting people. I don't know if he was having meet and greets. I really don't know what he was doing, but it was the same exact time. Like, what are the chances of that? And then, so since he's involved in this, Annabelle Eras tour, I completely forgot that Ryan was close with Lorraine Warren. I completely forgot about that because somebody commented on my video, and I'm just like, they asked me, why is Ryan in Lorraine's will and, you know, all this stuff. And I just completely forgot, because that show came out in 2007 and ended in 2006, 2007, and it ended in 2011. But when I was reading comments and people were saying like, no, he was close with Lorraine. And then I remember having all these flashbacks. Like, yes, Lorraine Warren was in quite a few episodes in Paranormal State, and she was very fond of Ryan. I don't know if she left anything in her will for him. I really don't know about that. But that's the connection there, because people were like, what the heck, you know, Lorraine and Ed would never have Ryan involved with them, and like, just no. But no, in Paranormal State, no, she was always there. Not in every episode, but quite a few episodes she was involved with Ryan. And I can't believe I completely forgot about that, but I did. So that is the connection there. And like I said, Annabelle is always like, anytime I see Annabelle, like, she's on tour, basically. Like, she's going to these paranormal cons, like these different conventions and stuff. I've never been to these conventions, so I don't know what goes on there, but I'm assuming people line up and meet the doll, is what I'm assuming, obviously. So Ryan Buell has been following the doll and giving updates on her tour across the country. Buell posted a video discussing Annabelle's appearance at West Virginia State Penitentiary, and he recalled his own haunting experience at the allegedly haunted site in 2009. This is the first time we're bringing haunted artifacts into West Virginia State Penitentiary, so that's going to be interesting, especially Annabelle, like the real Annabelle, he said. He explained that the doll was slowly being transported to San Antonio, Texas for Psychic Festival. I think this is the furthest she's traveled in decades, if not ever, so we'll see how tonight goes, is what he added. Oh, they had a Catholic priest with them? Okay. That was a question that I had, actually. He then shared the videos of the doll in the penitentiary, infuriating users online who echoed the Warrens' warning not to ever move her. Lorraine said not to move her. The Warrens said not to move her, one person wrote. Ed and Lorraine said no matter what happens to them, Annabelle does not leave the museum. Buell, however, addressed in a video the comments claiming that the couple traveled with Annabelle on tour to teach the public about the items and the occult. Annabelle next went to New Orleans before arriving in San Antonio Friday morning at the haunted Black Swan Inn, according to Buell's posts. She's remained locked in a case with a sign made by Ed Warren that reads, "Positively do not open." On May 15th, 2025, a fire broke out at the historic Nottoway Plantation, now known as Nottoway Resort in White Castle, Louisiana. And 11 inmates in a New Orleans prison escaped. Didn't the Warrens say she should never be moved? I mean, okay, because people want to know my opinion on this, and then I'm going to get into my experience with Annabelle. But also, I was curious about the whole... with the Catholic priest. Well, that's what Ryan Buell is saying. And do we believe everything he says? I don't know. But yes, okay, the fire and the 11 inmates who escaped, that is quite a coincidence. I mean, I don't know. I totally understand the conspiracies and people being like, oh my God, like, it's Annabelle. You know, she's out and she's doing all of this. I mean, you know, Ed and Lorraine did say not to move her. But like I said, I feel like she's always on the go. Like, she's always at conventions. But to be honest, when all of this was coming out, I was like, okay, there's no way this is the real Annabelle doll. And there's some other people who believe that too. They think it's not the real doll. Let me get my Annabelle doll. Holy shit, it's been a while. Oh my God. Who remembers her? Oh, geez. Annabelle, I need to bring her back. She actually looks really good with this set. I need to plop her down behind me like old time. Okay, we're going to do that. I have Annabelle like displayed. But I'm going to put her back in my videos. Do you guys remember this? And I remember I bought her on eBay in 2012, or was it 2011? 2011 or 2012, I bought this doll. I bought her on eBay from somebody named Annabelle. And I always made a joke, what if it was the actual Annabelle doll? And she looks just like her. Same size and everything. Okay, I kind of like, my younger self is just really coming out in this video. We're talking about Ryan Buell again, even though like all this shit happened. But it's just like, that's just how it was back in the day. Simpler times on YouTube. You know, Ryan was my idol. I loved Annabelle so much, and I still love Annabelle, obviously. She's my favorite haunted doll. That's why I bought this doll. Just like, I'm feeling very nostalgic and like emotional. Okay. So now I'm going to get into my experience meeting the real Annabelle doll. So 6 years ago, this June, so almost like 6 years ago, I think it was June 2nd, 2019, I went to the Warrens Occult Museum to celebrate the movie Annabelle Comes Home. I have a whole video on my channel about my experience and everything. I have so many Annabelle videos. I have an Annabelle playlist. I love Annabelle. And it was a very small group of people, but we went to the Warrens Occult Museum. It was amazing. And that's where I met Annabelle. We had a priest outside, like, you know, we were like drenched in holy water. And we came into the museum and I went right up to Annabelle. And I talked to her. I said, like, oh my God, like, I'm so excited to meet you. Like, I told the real Annabelle doll that I have my own Annabelle doll at home. Like, I was like fangirling. It was like a meet and greet. I was so excited to meet this doll. And I just said, it was so nice to meet you. Like, I've been wanting to meet you forever. Like, literally, that's how I was talking to the doll. And I truly believe this doll liked me. And I said that in my video. If you look at my picture, it looks like Annabelle is looking at the camera and smiling. I think this doll liked me. I really do. And my experience after was I just had a huge headache. I remember, like, throbbing headache after leaving the museum. I don't know if it was because of the doll. I don't know if it was because of the other haunted artifacts in that museum. I think I said in my video, like, it could have just been excitement. You know, when you've just had like a really long, exciting day and it's summertime, it's hot, and you just, you know, get one of those headaches. So I don't know. But I took Advil and like everything was fine. But it was just a very like throbbing headache that I had. So that was my experience with Annabelle. And I know that sounds crazy, but I truly believe the actual demon who is supposedly allegedly attached to the doll liked me. Because I wasn't like, fuck you, bitch, or like, you know what other people say? I just like, I love this shit. I love demonic stuff. Like, I know people be like, don't say that, bitch. I've been saying this since I was a kid, okay? I think I just don't show fear, and I'm like intrigued by this stuff. And I'm not saying that I'm like better than everyone. And I don't know. I think demons are just chill with me. I don't know what it is. I think they are, because I'm just like, that is so cool. And I'm not like I don't attack them, and I'm not trying to start something with them. I think they just know that I just acknowledge them, and I'm just like, that's so crazy. And they just like look at me and confused. I think I confuse demons. I truly think that. I think they are confused. Like, what the heck? Why does she like this so much? Why is she so into this? Why isn't she running away? Why did she come up to the doll and say, I've been waiting to meet you? Like, you know, I think they get thrown off by me, which makes them stay away from me. That's what I think. So I just think they like me. I don't know. That's all I'm saying. But anyway, she looks like she's smiling in the picture. And I was excited. That was one of the best days ever. One of the best days of my life. I still talk about it. So, but I'm going to bring Annabelle back to my channel. Oh my God. Okay. We're starting a new era on my channel, guys. We're starting a new era. Well, an old era, but we're bringing it back. Oh my God, it's going to be like my thumbnail. I'll think of a thumbnail, but I might like, people will be like, what is wrong with her? Anyways, I think that's all I want to say. Do I trust Ryan Buell today? No. Oh, but I do want to say, I went on his Instagram the other day and I saw what he put in his bio that he's like a recovering weirdo and stuff. So at least, you know, he acknowledges it. And I was just scrolling through and I went all the way back to his like first post. I don't know if he had posts before that and he deleted them, but it goes back to 2016. And I went through everything, and I'm happy to see that it looks like he is all like cleaned up and he's getting his life back on track. I think he's been in therapy. He seems happy. He seems lively. He seems like himself again, but I just don't trust him. And a lot of people don't. But I'm happy to see that he's doing well. And that's how I'll end this video. I think that's great. Lying about pancreatic cancer and all this stuff, that's a horrible thing to lie about. It's kind of hard to regain trust with that person, I don't know him personally. His family and friends obviously know so much more. But I'm just happy that he seems like himself again. But, it's just with the timing with all this Annabelle stuff, there's just something suspicious about it. So anyways, if you have gone on this tour and been to the spots where Annabelle is and you've met her, like, let me know. I'm going to look up people's experiences. Like, has anyone experienced anything negative? Because I was wondering, like, are they approaching Annabelle with a priest around? Like, are they being like drenched in holy water, Because I was before I met Annabelle. My group, people that I was with, which was a very small group, it was like 5 of us. We all had holy water. We had a priest with us and everything. So that's why I was like, I'm just curious. Are these people just like going up, handing their $60 or however much it is to Ryan and whoever else is there, and then like taking a picture with Annabelle? Like, I don't know. I haven't looked into that, so maybe I should do that. But hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is probably going to be a very long one, but thank you so much for watching. Is that all I wanted to say? I think so, but thank you so much for watching. As always, you rock my world. In the song lyrics, Michael Jackson. # team Pretty44. # Barretto Runs. Hey. And I will see you with Annabelle in my next video. Bye.